Hey everybody, it is me back again, pretty quickly this time. I've still just been trying to catch up on everything, like from where I took my little step back for a little bit. And so I'm trying to just hit the highlights of streams that I missed because my Lord, BJ streams a lot now. But anyway, so I've been trying to just get caught up on things. And as I come across them, I like make a note, remember to say this, remember to say this. So I have a lot of like bullet points that I want to meet. And people have seen my community posts lately. They've been really long and rambly but it's like I immediately want to respond to it. I'm like, oh, I got to say something. But I know there's people that are like, I'm not reading all that shit. And I'm like, I don't blame you. Don't. So I make this just to kind of back up what I say in my community post and to kind of just get it off my chest. I'm nobody needs my view on things, but just kind of what I do to get it off of my brain. So, and I see like what I'm looking at are things that I see being discussed around the community or in my comment section, things that are brought up by other people. And I'm like, oh, that's a really good point, and I want to talk about it. So one of the things is this continuance of the grouping people together. Now, look, this is in some ways really detrimental to people, okay? These creators, as well as subs and viewers, we are all individual people who can make up our individual minds about what we individually believe. And it is so amazingly frustrating to be told who you are, what you're doing, and what you're thinking, because that's what this community does. And it's everywhere. Look, we do it to like Jonesin and Dietz and Nunya and Chasing. We refer to them as one person, as the HOA. And, people probably get pissed that I say this, but they aren't one person. They're all individual creators and they believe different things. They disagree with each other. They don't like what one does. It's just like the creators over here. They aren't a group of creators that make up one like mega brain and they all function the same and believe the same. And it's not how it is. And the thing with clip channels, unfortunately, and this includes me very much so, is we don't clip a lot of the times whenever creators are like friendly creators are disagreeing with things on panel between each other, because it's not a fight. They're just discussing, like normal people discussing. And it happens a lot, but it doesn't ever get clipped. And people, especially people that don't like the creator, they're not going to sit and watch a 6-hour live of somebody they hate normally. So if it's not clipped somewhere and they don't like the creator, they're probably never going to see that it wasn't a groupthink, that there was actually discourse on panel and discussion about morals and what this one believes is right and what this one does. And everybody's streams are different. People do different things with their streams. Some do regular commentary, some do stream sniping, some do review from the day prior. It's just kind of all over the place. They do what is important to them, and they do not all agree on the way each other approaches things, and they speak out about it. But like I said, it doesn't ever get captured and put out because that's not the interesting stuff. That's not what people think is important. But at this point, I do think it's important. Okay, I want to give a specific example. My problem with this is that anytime you talk about specific people, as soon as they hear a name of a creator they don't like, everything in their brain shuts down and they hear nothing but what they want to hear about that creator. So it's really hard to even have discussions because people get so caught up on the hate for one person that they can't focus on the situation and the circumstances. It has to be all about the person that I just said. So let me just do it like this. Okay, person A was streaming the other morning. And people start coming into person A's chat and saying that person B is stream sniping her. So I guess person A decides to go in and copyright strike. And now I'm not going to pretend to know anything about copyright when it involves live streaming. I know about videos, but live streaming, I know nothing about it. So I guess it was like a warning or something because person B's stream did go down, but she was able to come right back on. So, like I said, I don't know how that works. So that's just the facts that I know of what happened. But the response afterward was interesting because people were then very angry at person A and were saying things like, oh, so they can stream snipe BJ and use all of her content all they want, but nobody can do it to them. And that's where this whole them thing comes into play because person A doesn't stream snipe people. Now, her friend person C over here might stream snipe, but it's not person A. And actually, person A has spoke out about the amount of coverage of VJ, but nobody cares about that because we're all just one big lump sum that does everything together. Because it doesn't just include the creators, it's us as viewers also. Like we suddenly all become part of they. But you cannot take, just because creators are friendly and can panel together and have good back and forth with each other, means nothing. Like my best friend in real life, we do not agree on how to handle everything. She does things sometimes and I'm like, oh my God, girl, why did you do that? And that's part of just our own autonomy as adults. Like we are capable of making our own decisions based on our own morals and ethics. It's the same on YouTube whenever there are people that are friendly with each other and will panel together or whatever. It's not that they all agree on everything and that's why they panel together. It's good. Actually, it's better if they don't agree on everything because then you get to see multiple sides of something and hear discussion happen without a screaming match breaking out, So they can discuss it and then either agree to disagree or they can discuss it and one person may see it differently after discussion and then agree with the other person. But it is not an automatic assignment to 5 creators just because one creator does it. I hope that makes sense. I really wish I could put names in there and people are going to know probably, but it's literally, I think it's like a physical reaction to some of these creators' names. And I'm not kidding. Like, I'm very serious. Once a name comes out, it is like a physical, unintentional reaction to it. And the brain shuts down and people hear the piece they want to hear and everything else is drowned out. And it sucks for trying to get people to look at things and see things objectively. Okay, so I'm going to use this for an example. Try to picture this and this is the only thing I can think of to represent it somewhat. So imagine that you're going to a concert and you get there and the venue and there's 2,000 people in the audience and you're all sitting, looking at the stage, watching the people performing on the stage. Well, 2 rows ahead of you, are these 2 people that you know from high school, so you know who they are. They suddenly break out into the fight, and it's a bad fight. There's ambulances, somebody goes to the hospital, someone's arrested, it's a bad thing. Well, after they arrest one of them and put the other in the ambulance, the cops come back and say, okay, now I'm arresting all 2,000 people here in the audience and the performers on stage. You were all involved. I know you weren't part of it, but you stood there and watched, so you agree with it. You didn't turn away and run, and so you agree, you're a part of it. You contributed to it, so you're all going to jail. All 2,000 of you, all 5 of the performers on the stage, everybody, come on, you're being arrested. And that's what it is. We come to YouTube for entertainment. We come to watch creators, okay? We are not joining a gang to go out and carry out missions and assignments and bullshit. Like, we're here to be entertained. And I personally am tired of being lumped into a group saying that I called CPS or I called law enforcement because no, the fuck I didn't, and I wouldn't. I don't know who did it. Don't know when it was done, how it was done, who it was done by. Don't care. Don't want to know. We do not sit in these chats and discuss bullshit like that, and I'm not behind the scenes. So it's ridiculous to think that thousands of people are all contributing to a phone call being made. Like, that is not reasonable. And I'm talking about all sides, every side, both sides. We are really bad in this community about lumping people into one person and making them one person. And we should not do that. We all want to be seen as individuals, and we all want to make our own judgments and opinions based on what we see and take in. And it's just not fair to assign blame to so many people who had nothing to do with it. But I get it. I mean, it sounds better to say, well, they are trying to ruin my life. They called CPS. They're trying to take my kids from me. Because if she just said 2 people called CPS and they came and did a visit, then that doesn't sound as impactful as they're trying to get my kids taken away. They did it. That makes you sound like you're a big victim because, I mean, hell, all of us over here, I guess, got on a group phone call and did it, and I must have slept through it or something. But that's the kind of thing that gets to me. I don't understand. I don't blame Joneson for BJ falling asleep. Just things like that. It bothers me because I don't want to be assigned the blame for something that I don't agree with. For example, the house getting posted on X, and some creators agreed with it. I know that Granny spoke out and said that she didn't agree with it, and Brandy Wine got very upset at Granny and voiced it. But that's how it was. That was Granny's moral line. She didn't agree with it. But does it matter to anybody? No. Because if it involves BJ, everybody assumes that it involves Granny, which is also a big mindfuck. And then another thing that is my favorite is BJ's, well, if I logged off, it's going to be somebody else. Like, she is the biggest martyr ever. If I'm not the one here taking it, then the next person might not be as strong as me, and they won't be able to handle it. And the most recent stream that I listened to where she said this, it really pissed me off because she was doing this whole, I think it was when she had the other people, Brantley and Tyra and them on panel, and something was said about if BJ were to get off YouTube, they will just move on to their next target. And then BJ's like, and they're going to go after kids. They will go after kids. They will. Y'all trust me. They will go after kids like they did mine. Oh my God, I can't. No, nobody is going after kids, and nobody is looking for a new target if BJ leaves. BJ is the problem and has been for a long time. Like, I don't know if there's really like selective memory or what, but if people in this community will remember that BJ's true crime coverage has been an issue for years. People have talked about her being a tragedy pimp and exploiting these kids for years. It's been a problem. So once, and this is how, in my opinion, how things changed from being just where she was a problematic true crime creator to where she was suddenly full into this drama crama space is whenever she got a parent of a missing child in her chat. And that is my opinion. I think I had heard her speak out about she didn't think it was right for people to defend a certain parent or talk to them in cases. And that was because she was jealous of what had happened with the previous case where Granny had spoken to someone and had them on her panel. And it really bothered her. And so she had made this whole stream about how close is too close, how with a family. And she was like, I don't think you should do that. I think it was like 2 streams later that Seth first showed up in her stream. And she was starstruck. And I hate to put it that way because that sounds disgusting. Because this, after all, this isn't a celebrity. This is a father of a missing child. But BJ saw dollar signs, in my opinion, as soon as he came in there. And as soon as he repeatedly started coming, she was going to defend him. And so that's when all of the BS started. That's whenever anybody that spoke negatively about Seth, she was going to defend it wholeheartedly because he was there in her chat and she did not want to lose that. She thought she was big time with that in her chat and she would do anything to hold on to it. And that's when she started really, really poking at people. And that's when she really got a lot of backlash because she was doing it defending Seth. It wasn't about everybody decided to attack her because everybody suddenly became miserable in their real lives and all decided, hey, let's go team up on BJ and take her down. No, that's not how it happened. It was this progressive thing of BJ poking at people as soon as there was any speaking out against Seth and his behaviors. She was defending him. And like I said, this is all my opinion and what I watched happen, but the timing as how things played out, and things just kind of gradually increased. And then you had the injunction come, and then she continued to fight that, and she had people behind her, which emboldens her. And it was just like this big tidal wave of shit that pushed forward, and here we are. Wow, let me reel that back in. I just went way off target. I was talking about being pissed off that she was saying that if she left, we would go find another target, and we would go after their kids. She promises we would go after their kids. So again, we got the big they that's going to do all this. But no, nobody is going after kids over here. Nobody is trying to get kids taken from her. I don't know because I don't know who called and I don't want to know. I don't agree with it, but I can understand. I said this before, how people that have had experiences in their past that were maybe traumatizing have seen concerning things at BJ's and called out a genuine concern just so that somebody puts eyes on those children and makes sure they're okay, not to get them taken from the home. I do not believe that for a second. I don't think there's a person in true crime that thinks that removing a child from the home when it's not, unless it's, severe abuse, but I don't think that anybody believes that that is the best option for a child because it's not. But I get really tired of it, and I get tired of trying to pretend like I don't hear what I hear because I'm going to be accused of attacking a child. Listen, if I am in a chat and I'm listening to someone playing BJ reviewing a stream and I hear a young person or a significant other talking and I can understand the words they're saying, how is that my fault? It's like, I cannot help what I hear. And BJ has repeatedly done this. She's done it for years, and it's a lie every time because she never changes anything. But she has claimed that she, at one point, she was going to go stream in her car so the kids wouldn't be heard. She was going to have to lock them out or keep them out of the room. She was going to have to stream at odd times. All of this stuff she was going to have to do so that the kids weren't heard in the background. And she never does any of it. Like literally the other day when she was talking about this again and saying that because of YouTube, she can't have her kids in the room. 2 nights later, she was talking about him being on the couch behind her if you hear him blowing his nose. So it's like, I don't even listen to that anymore because she lies about it every time. And look, it is not even that you have kids in the background. It's the concerning things that is heard, like them having to wake her up and there being a panicked tone in their voice. If we talk about the kids being in the background, it's that. And it's things like you're covering deceased children or world catastrophes and they are right there behind you. Because yes, BJ has headphones on, so they can't hear what the people are saying, but they hear what she's saying. The things like they come into the room to ask for something and she will say, hold on, I've got to go be an adult and take care of the kids, the ones I don't take care of. Like, don't say that stuff in front of them. And I'm sorry, I hear what I hear, and it bothers me because I am a parent. And just like how Chris and Katie talked about Sebastian bothered her so much, sometimes the things I hear in her background bother me. Like every time that Chris and Katie talked about Sebastian, how DJ would be like, I don't like the way they talk about him. I don't like the way that bothers me. As a parent of a child with autism, that bothers me and I don't like it. Well, listen, I'm a parent of just kids. And sometimes the things that I hear in her background, which is not an enhanced background, just me listening to get a clip, sometimes the things I hear bothers me. And that's my right. And if I want to say something about it, I can. It doesn't mean I'm attacking your child. Your child did nothing wrong. Has nothing to do with him. Things that could be done to shield them from even being heard or seen or whatever. Or you could just make it okay for them to be heard and seen and not make it such a dramatic thing. And I don't even think people would notice. If you're just having regular interactions with your children in the room and you're not talking about some dark subject, that's fine. Like there's family bloggers, there's people that have their kids, that's everybody's decision. But DJ makes it such a big freaking thing if somebody says they heard a kid in the background that it kind of blows it up and everybody sees it as something dramatic when it probably isn't. Like if she just rode with it and didn't act like it was a huge deal, or she could mute. I mean, there are parents that mute when their kids come in the room. There's numerous creators that, like, I know that Queen mutes whenever her kids come in. I know Granny mutes when her kids come in. Clue does. Jay don't have any littles there, so that's the other option. I know she can hit the mute button because she's on it when Craig's in the room. So that's the other option. Mute when they come in. Like there's so many things she could do to fix that situation, but I don't think she wants to. And I'm just saying right now, if I ever mention something that involves her kids, I'm not enhancing audio. I'm not trying to hear them. I'm not trying to stalk them. If I mention something about it, it's because it's something that I naturally heard listening to a clip and it bothered me, and that's my right. And I'm not talking bad about the kid. I'm not doing anything to that child. That child should never know anyway what's said on here, but anyway. But that's just the thing, she can review all of these parents of missing children and point out everything that bothers her about all of them. But if somebody on here hears something that bothers them about her household, we are not allowed to talk about it. We didn't hear it. We're making it up. We lied. We're stalking. It's ridiculous. It's honestly ridiculous. And then again, whenever she had the people on her panel, Brantley and then the other day, the receipt thing got brought up again, and she was asked if she showed receipts for her attorney. She says, yes, I did. And then I'm the only one that's shown receipts on here. Only me. All these other people have been raising money for attorneys and nobody showed anything but me. Well, first of all, I don't believe the receipt she has because, well, several reasons. The wording, the amounts, the changing story, all of that. Number two, Granny and Queen have attorneys appearing for them. What do you not understand about that? Like, as soon as she got this attorney, she's like, oh, wow, I didn't realize how expensive they are. But then she turns around and acts like Granny and Queen Bee are scamming money because they haven't shown receipts for their attorneys. Meanwhile, their attorneys are showing up in court and are filing motions and are going through streams and videos and emails and all of that stuff. And they do not work for free. They will not work for free. So, and BJ, no worries. You're likely going to see the exact amount Granny paid for her attorney soon. Not a threat. In this part, I would really like an explanation if anybody can give me one. So BJ has her apology stream where she's going to take accountability for what she's been doing. And she comes on to say that she's finally admitting that she was falling asleep on her streams. And so suddenly there's some, pats on the back and some apologies and things like that. And we're just moving forward with it. And I'm sitting here like, what? Wait a minute. This has been happening for over a year. This has been one of the biggest things that the dark side has been accused of. I actually remember whenever it was caught on camera for the first time and Granny played it on her stream and did not make direct accusations, but just said, it looks kind of sus. And people flipped the fuck out. There were people that walked away from Granny at that point, saying that she was accusing her of using. Because part of the whole thing was her denying that she was falling asleep was something that made it look more sus. Because when you see somebody with your own eyes doing something, you confront them about it and they deny it. It made it look like she was lying. I mean, that's what made it seem so much more odd and like there might be something else going on. And so everybody said that we were mocking someone that could be in active addiction when now she's going to come out and say that she was sleeping the whole time, even though she was adamantly denying it back then. And that's part of what made it so questionable. It became a huge deal, and it's been a huge deal. This has been one of the major complaints about the dark side is accusing her of being on drugs because she was falling asleep during her streams. But then, no, she wasn't falling asleep. She wasn't nodding. She wasn't falling asleep. She was awake. So then it became, she has asthma. We're making fun of her asthma. She's scratching her leg. She can't look down for a second, or she's accused of being asleep. She can't get quiet for a second, or she's accused of being asleep. What else was it? She was thinking. She closes her eyes when she thinks. She was nauseated, so she was looking down. Like, it's been lie after lie after lie, and then it's all been spun around to be our fault for saying it. I mean, seriously, think about that. Think about the implication of that. She literally gaslit an entire community for over a year. And so suddenly, a year later, BJ decides to emerge and say, hey, yeah, well, I was falling asleep. You know, all those lies I've been telling for the past year? I was really falling asleep. And everybody goes, okay, great. Thanks for admitting it, and walks away. And I'm like, no, I'm pissed. I'm pissed. This was a big deal. This wasn't, seriously, if everybody sits and thinks about it, until all of the CPS stuff started, up until then, the main point of contention was this bringing up her falling asleep and how obsessed we were with it and how unfair it was. And people were, angry at certain creators for showing it or whatever. I mean, we were evil because of this. And we were terrible. We were making fun of her medical condition because it was just her asthma. She wasn't snoring. I mean, we sat and watched her fall asleep on camera, and then we were gaslit to hell and back. But suddenly we're supposed to just say, oh, okay, yeah, thanks. I mean, even the people in her own chat, like, we sat and watched her panel scream at people, like their subs and members. If they mentioned hearing a snore, or is VJ okay, or is she awake, they got chewed out. You were not allowed to say the word sleep in her chat, or you would get called out, embarrassed, yelled at, blocked, whatever. Like, it was a sin. If you did that, you were agreeing with the dark side and adding to the problem. Don't do it. And her panel, I had secondhand embarrassment for the people on her panel who were sitting there in silence, knowing that she's sleeping, but they can't say it because she'll flip the fuck out. So you would have just periods of awkwardness where nobody knew what to do because they knew she was sleeping, couldn't address it directly. If there was a video playing, it was going through ads and going on to the next video because BJ controls it and she's asleep. And it was a big deal. I don't know. It just blows me away that we have gone through over a year of being gaslit very publicly by her. Her own panel members were gaslit by her. Her chat subs members were gaslit by her. We were told that we weren't hearing or seeing what we were hearing and seeing. And you were not allowed to say anything about it. I mean, to be accused of mocking a medical condition, I mean, just everything. It was crazy, the amount of stuff that the dark side was accused of. So finally, one day, BJ comes on crying, I gotta admit, I was falling asleep. I'm exhausted. And I still will never understand that. I will never understand why, if you are just falling asleep, the first time you drifted off and someone said something about it. I mean, sleep is not a weakness. It is a necessary bodily function to sustain life. You didn't think to yourself, I probably should go to bed. Probably shouldn't keep streaming. I should probably go to bed. No, you just kept streaming and falling asleep. I will never understand that. It makes no sense to me at all. And the fact that people are like proud of her and apologizing and like she's just done something miraculous by admitting that she's lied for over a year for absolutely no reason. Like, why? And, and then it comes down to the stress and she's not sleeping. Well, sleep. Then she gives us this schedule of how busy she is. And I cannot help but roll my eyes because I hear her. Okay, wait, let me tell you. I wrote it down. Let me tell you what she does that she's so busy why she can't sleep, okay? So she says she normally streams until 3 or 4 in the morning, right? So she'll go to bed then. She's up at 5:30 to get the kids up and take them to school. So right there already, you've had an hour and a half of sleep and you're driving kids to school, and you fall asleep mid-sentence. So then she comes home and then she's wide awake. So she doesn't go to sleep. She does stuff around the house. She's got to do grocery shopping. I don't think that's daily. Hauling the trash off, doctor appointments, teacher meetings. And then she has to go pick the kids up. Then she'll stream at 10 until like 3 or 4 in the morning. So she just doesn't sleep. Like, I don't understand what she's doing all day. Like, you don't grocery shop every day. You don't haul trash off every day. She acts like they don't like to go to the doctor. So I don't think that's very often. I don't know about teacher meetings, but like, there are women that work full-time jobs, sometimes overtime too, plus run a household and still are able to get on YouTube an hour or 2 at night and be okay. Like, so she acts like this schedule of hers is so grueling that as soon as she doesn't sit down all day, guys. She does not sit down. Nope. She's not sedentary. She does not sit down during the day. She is on the move all day long. So she doesn't sleep. And that's just the physical part. Then you added her mental and emotional fatigue. Oh my God. She never knows who's going to show up at her house. She's on edge. Kids are on edge. They jump when there's a knock at the door. They jump when there's a noise outside. If the cat jumps on the air conditioner, and then she brings up the driving by your house. And okay, valid, because I don't know. I don't know anything about that. I don't know when it was. I don't know who it was. I wouldn't like it happening to me. Okay. that you can be concerned about, okay? But she then, of course, has to take that further and start connecting Clue's ex into it. And that she said she was going to weaponize her ex, and he's in that state, and somebody drove by her house, and like, I think pretty much 85% of the community understood what Clue was saying by that, and it was not anything to do with a physical attack on anyone. So that she can't drop it. She cannot drop it. Anyway, and she talks about, in real life, this is stalking. This wouldn't be tolerated. You would be in trouble for this if you were in real life doing all of this stuff here. And I'm like, who exactly are you going to get stalking charges against or a stalking order against? Like, are you going to go and say, hey, there's these 2,000 people are reviewing my live streams, my public live streams every day and criticizing them and saying mean things. I need a stalking order on them. Because I don't know of any creator or sub besides Dark Horse that has done anything repetitively to affect your real life. She did the welfare check and she did the CPS call and admitted to it. And she claims that they were out of genuine concern. So I don't even think you could use that. I just don't understand who you think is stalking you, because all we hear is they and their and them. And you can't claim that 2,000 people are stalking you. And then I find it funny that she talks about she had to go get a drug test, right? And she was traumatized because she had to pee in a cup with somebody staring at her privates. First of all, you might want to go tell somebody that they were staring at your privates, because they don't like get down there and bird's eye view of it as you pee. I mean, yeah, they're going to be there in the room, but you've also had 5 kids. Like, why peeing is traumatic? I don't understand. And then she talks about she has all these old urine drug tests that she could show us. So why is this one traumatic? It doesn't make any sense. As usual, a story from her doesn't make any sense. And then she keeps going on and on about, this 3 CPS reports, and never before in my real life have we had CPS. And I'm still just curious, because I am pretty sure, I know the state I live in, it's mandatory for CPS to be called whenever there is a domestic incident that police attend and there are children in the home. I know in my real life, whenever I had a domestic incident, CPS was involved by the police. It wasn't even, we didn't have a choice in it. Like, it automatically, I didn't even know it was going to happen. I was getting a call from them. So I didn't even know that was going to trigger CPS, but it did. So I'm really curious why, because in the description, the kids were in that home. So if they were witnessing that, I don't understand how CPS wasn't involved. And it's none of my business. I don't like being lied to, and I don't like you coming out here and, claiming that the internet is the only reason that they've been involved, because I really, in my opinion, don't think that's true, but it's not my business. Just like Chris and Katie's CPS cases weren't your business, your CPS cases aren't our business. Quit talking so much about them. Like, it comes down again to oversharing. Like, you're so upset about these CPS cases, but you keep bringing them up and you keep telling details about what they did while they were there, and all of the I wouldn't even told people that I had to take a drug test. Like, keep that to yourself. It's not our business. I didn't think that Chris and Katie's reported CPS cases allegedly were anybody's business, especially y'all's, because y'all kept using them as a weapon, and yours are not our business. But you just can't stop oversharing. Like, you brought up people, your son's tooth. You were like, well, I don't know why they're bringing up my son's tooth. And the thing with that, it wasn't about your parenting. That wasn't why it was brought up. It was brought up as a money thing, of you collected money or received money for something that you didn't use it for what you said you were going to. And that was why that was even brought up. It wasn't about your parenting. It wasn't picking on a kid. It wasn't any of that. But even with that, you bring it up and then you go and tell us like every detail about his plan, like insurance and what they were going to do to fix it, and what the dentist said, and when you're going to actually have it done. Like, stop. It's such a weird thing to be told that we talk about your kids too much, and then you come on here and you tell us every detail. Like, we now know that one of your kids is on a peanut butter and jelly kick and one of them's on a cereal kick. Like, you tell too much stuff and then get mad if people listen to you. Like, you're on a public platform. You know that you have all these people reviewing you, but you keep just shelling out all of these details, more details, and it's like, just stop. And Jungson actually had a good suggestion of her doing her live streams during the day while the boys are at school. So that way they're not there to get in the shot or in the microphone, and she can get it done during the day, and then she's got all evening with the kids and she can go to bed at a normal time, and that would be great. And she was like, of course, during that stream, BJ's like, oh yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that. And then maybe in the evening about 6 p.m., dinner will be done and their homework's done, and that's what I'm going to have to do. Yeah, but guess what? Like everything with BJ, didn't happen. And she's back to falling asleep, and not logging off when she falls asleep. Oh, shoot. Another thing I meant to add, when I was talking about her daily, how she's so busy during the day all day long, she also then says a little bit later that she's on the phone with her mods 7 to 8 hours a day. Huh? And this is the thing with me, okay? BJ acts like all of these people, these other creators, are in streams all day long. And I don't have a life outside of YouTube. They're on here all day. That's all they do all day long. They don't have any life. They're miserable. But yet I have heard from numerous ex-mods that you are on the phone with them all day long and that you all are discussing drama, watching streams and talking about who's saying what and when and where. And so I honestly believe that BJ has an addiction to YouTube, to social media, because I'm also really curious why she cannot stream because of trolls. Like I've wondered about this for a while because she will start a stream and then she will go, well, got to put it on members only. They're already bombarding my chat. Here they come. They're all coming in here. And I'm just like, I can't even talk because it's like, you would think they're like physically rolling into a room so loud that she can't hear herself talk when they're in a chat. Like used to, BJ's chats were all, if you had a differing opinion or she knew you from another chat, you got blocked immediately anyway. So I'm not really understanding, like every channel has trolls. Little channels get trolls. Why can she not just block the trolls and not read their comments? What is so hard about that? I'm sincere. If somebody knows the answer, please tell me because I don't understand. Channels get trolls. That's, it's another thing that she gets to blame on they and them because she will say, I don't want to go to members only, but I have to because they all come rushing in here whenever the stream starts and then I can't stream and we're just gonna have to do members only all the time and all of this crap. And I'm just like, I don't understand. I don't, because I go in a lot of chats and I see a lot of trolls and they're handled. And I know for sure that BJ's chat used to be that you couldn't even go in there and try to talk and you would be blocked like so quick. So I don't get it. And I hope somebody can explain it to me. I feel like she's using that, one, to be a victim of us, and two, to get members. So I don't know. She complained about people saying that her mods were enabling her. They said they're not enabling me. They're good friends. They were helping you lie for a year about sleeping. So, I mean, that's a little bit of enabling. I'm sorry, but it is. You may not believe that, but assisting you in getting away with something and not calling you out for it. Like, I don't know. I myself would expect my mods to tell me, hey, people are getting really upset about you falling asleep and they're uncomfortable because they can't address it. And, why don't I give you a signal? So if you drift off, I don't have to say it out loud, but I can signal you and you can go ahead and end the stream so you're not falling asleep multiple times. To me, that would be the thing. That's a helpful and caring mod. Enabling to me means that they are helping you get away with it, no matter the cause. I don't care if it's fatigue or substance. If they are assisting you in getting away with the lie over and over again, that's enabling. I hate to tell you, but it is. Because that was a whole part of her apology, was that she apologizes for not shutting it down when she should shut it down and trying to say but yet here she's already doing it again, which I think most of us are not surprised by that. I think some people really thought she was going to change. Yeah, that's BJ. And again, she would always say, I don't know what the big deal is with me falling asleep. Why do y'all care? Care because of what you're discussing. Like, we're not sitting here reviewing a movie or something. Like, you were talking about serious, tragic things and falling asleep like it's something boring to you. It's just that it's the respect thing. It is not about, I could care less if you fall asleep, but look at what you're doing and think about if that was your missing child or your deceased child up on the screen and telling the story about what happened to him. And this creator is sitting here making money off of it, sleeping. I mean, disrespect is the problem. And I think most people saw it, but I put on my community post several different screenshots of different stat boards that show her views of her channel. She actually emptied out her channels. And like I said, I think there's multiple reasons for that, and you can't change my mind about it. I think that she wanted to hide a lot of her worst behavior. And I think that continues because she has this attorney supposedly. So she will come on and stream all night long and say and do some terrible things with Craig in the background and then immediately hides it. So if you're an attorney, you're not expecting that your client is up streaming all night. So he probably doesn't know any different that there was an overnight stream or 2 or 3 that are now hidden, but it hides her bad behavior so that it can't be used against her for whatever they're plotting. If they're going to YouTube trying to get channels removed for TOS violations or community guideline violations, they can, glance at her channel and it looks like she's just responding because all of the poking and disgusting things are hidden from plain sight. So she can pull one over on her attorney. YouTube obviously can find those if someone tells them that they're there. I don't know if they can just readily see them or if they have to look for them, but that's, in my opinion, another reason that she is hiding it, because her reasoning was, I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what they're planning. I don't know what they're plotting. And that makes no sense. Like, it legit makes no sense. Nobody was striking her. Nobody was doing anything to make her think that they were attacking her old videos. And then she was also out of the algorithm because she looked like she was a new channel with nothing there. So, and people will learn that BJ is really good at playing semantics because she can tell you something that answered your question and she's not lying, but she's also not really answering the question. So, such as in my video, the whole Clemenati website, right? So when she came on, she was having a fit and people were talking about the website in the chat and she kept saying, I didn't create any website. I don't create websites. I don't know how to do that. It wasn't me. I did not create. Well, no, that was never accused. Nobody said you created it. They said you knew about it and you promoted it. And that's what you did. But that's the kind of thing she'll do is she will skate around the actual topic. So like she's mentioning, you hear the word website, but she's adding creating on there. So that, yeah, she's telling the truth. She didn't create a website, but that wasn't what was said. So she tells the truth and sounds like she's answering the question, but really she's adding words in there to get around lying. I hope that makes sense because she was like, what I said was that she knew that they made the website. It was spoken about on her channel and dropped in her chat section. But when she went live, she was all outraged saying that she didn't create the website. She didn't know how to do that. So that's the kind of thing that she does. So when she made this attorney account, it's very, very vague. If you look at the Give Send Go description, it is extremely vague on what she's doing. So as long as she hires an attorney and has proof that she hired one, it will not be fraud by deception because she is doing what she said, because there's nothing in there that says, I'm paying this attorney this amount for this thing. You know, we just know it's related to YouTube. It's an attorney, a flat rate. And that's pretty much all she put in there, vague. So she won't be lying. And then you have BJ on this quote accountability apology stream, crying, saying, this is the most traumatic time I have been through in my life. These past few months with these YouTube bullies, it's so traumatic. And I'm just sitting there listening to her thinking, really? Really? This is the most traumatic thing you've ever dealt with? And I think back about things that BJ has told us over the years. And, you know, recently there was this essay story when she was, 21 or 22, that has gradually changed with time to the most recent telling of it being that she was brutally raped. But YouTube bullies calling CPS is more traumatic than that. We all know what that police report was about. YouTube bullies is more traumatic than that. It's the dramatics for me. Like, everything has to be so over the top and exaggerated so she can get the most victim points possible. If this is the most traumatic thing she's been through, her perception, something is up, because she's going to claim that CPS visits that were closed out immediately because nothing's wrong, right, are the most traumatic thing she's ever been through. I could tell you some traumatic stories that would put hers to shame. I'm not going to, because I don't want that. I don't need victim points. But it irritates the piss out of me because it's ridiculous to say that what she's been through the past few months is that horrific. It blows me away with her sometimes. And people buy it, shed a few tears, and they are in the palm of her hand like, oh my God, it's awful. You're so strong. I can't believe you made it through this. Nobody else would make it through this. They would have left. Oh, you're so strong. And it's all so gross. Like, I guarantee you, there are people in her chat and these chats that I go in that are going through traumatic things right now. People that have loved ones passing away. People that have spouses, children battling cancer. People that have been in car accidents recently and have PTSD. People that have been through severe SA and are battling with CPTSD symptoms daily. Like, it's insulting to the viewers to be declaring that you are so traumatized by something that you could literally walk away from. And okay, I get it. It's not fair for you to have to leave. It's not fair. Let me tell you something. When I was going through one of the most traumatic times of my life, if I had the option to walk away from it and it would stop, I, a million times over, would have walked away. A million times over. If I could avoid going through more of that, I would have walked away. So I can't believe anything she says, because if something is actually traumatizing her, which everything traumatizes, everything she talks about, she says traumatizes her. But if something is truly traumatizing her, there's a way to get away from it. Walk away, ignore, do something. Don't, like, really? I mean, it's seriously insulting to people that are going through things, people that are struggling to get out of bed every day. I don't know. It really, when I heard that, it was just like, you have been through all these horrible things in life. You know, I was shocked whenever she changed her story to being brutally raped. And then here she's talking about this is the most traumatic thing. Because then, you know, the next escalation with BJ is that we're suicide trolls. Everybody's suicide trolling her and makes the statement, they want me to die. I really think that's what they want. They want me to die. Like, are you being serious right now? This is YouTube. We're on an entertainment platform. Commentating over public live streams means that we want someone to not be here anymore. Like, no. What is that jump? I can't even comprehend that. Like, I can't. There's another thing that I think it's pretty obvious that BJ doesn't have like a lot of people that she enjoys being around or obviously paneling with, because she wants to call everybody that she talks about as a pick-me girl. So if someone goes into a creator goes into another creator's chat and they say hi, or they say they want to link, she's like, she's such a pick-me girl. God, pick me. She's such a and then she says it about anybody that actually shows interest in talking to another person because they just enjoy talking to that person is a pick me. It kind of reveals something about her personality, I think, and what she's not used to, because I would never think that just because someone is eager to sit and talk with somebody that they enjoy talking to. It's kind of strange. The last thing I want to mention is Craig. And I don't even know really what to say about it because it's just a mess. It's a mess. I think that BJ really thought she could bring him on and keep him under control and present as a loving, happy family that sits and does true crime together. I also think that he was brought in to be her attacker because she lost her other ones. But it is glaringly obvious that he is not capable of that. And I think she really already knew that. You know, she was pretty hesitant with bringing him on and was warning people and all of that. But I don't think people had any idea quite the lengths that he would go to. And you have to remember, BJ has been with this man anywhere from 12 to 14 years, take your pick. But if you believe that she does not approve, agree, whatever with the ideologies of this man, you're crazy. Why would you stay with somebody that long if you were opposed to the things that they are doing and saying? Like, I am sorry, if my spouse was on a public stream speaking like that to women, men, anything, my husband would never do that. I would be mortified, especially when I've been trying to come across as this sweet Southern mom who stays at home to take care of my kids and streams to help our family out. And I've got this Southern belle accent and I pray and drink sweet tea, you know, all of just the whole stereotypical Southern. And because everything that she does, it's a Southern thing. It's different in the South. I'm from the South, you know, whatever. When you've portrayed yourself that way and then we find out that actually you are more like Craig behind the scenes, that's kind of jolting to her audience. I can't imagine if you didn't know Craig from before and you really thought you were going to get like this similar person to BJ's creator persona, and then you get Craig, that had to have been a shock to them. And the things happening recently with the things he's saying, with the excessive drinking and the just running of the mouth, paired with DJ continuing to fall asleep and not log off immediately. There's things going on in the background. Like, it's just bad. It's just all bad. Like, she has got to, if she really wants to dig her channel up from the grave, she is going to have to put her foot down with him and tell him that he has to stay out of the room that she's streaming in while she does her streams, or do it like Joneson suggested, do it during the daytime while the kids are at school and he's not in the background drinking. Something with that is going to have to change before she can go anywhere, because you are not going to draw in a good base of people into true crime with that going on in the background, because not only is it distracting to what you're trying to listen to, you know, you're talking about true crime, horrible things happening, sad, tragic things, and people then hear stuff in the background being said and they want to hear it because it's distracting and you think that it's adding to the conversation. So people are then trying to listen to you and the background. So it's super distracting. And then when they hear the background, they hear that it's not what DJ is talking about, that it's inappropriate crap and very inappropriate for the topic that they're discussing. People are going to leave. I mean, I would not want to listen to that every night. Like, it's hard to listen to, and I'm not a prude, and it's hard to listen to. And look, I'm going to say, I do believe that Craig has the capacity to become a very angry drunk. You know, BJ has said before that he can get mean. We know now what we know. I just really think that the propensity for that is there. And it does make me worry for her that she may be now in a situation where she is afraid to tell him that he can't be in there when she's streaming because of how he might react. because I am not a heartless asshole, because I have empathy and I can understand things like that, and I don't want anyone hurt. I don't want anyone in a situation where they're scared even. I don't want that for anybody. It does worry me that she has gotten herself into a spot where it is hard to get out of easily, and I think about that whenever I hear him coming back on her show every night, even after there's been something like the cat incident. There has to be a reason for it, and I hope that's not it. Like, I really do. Because I'm not somebody who is going to speak negatively about someone because they don't leave a DV relationship, because it isn't that easy. And I know that I know everybody's view on that's different. I get it. Okay. There are different situations, always different personalities, different support factors, different coping mechanisms, just all of that. It varies so much between people. And it can be extremely hard to get away from a DV relationship. So I would never say that someone deserves it. I will never say that they are stupid for not leaving. I would never do that, because DV is a very difficult and individualized thing. You get into this relationship with someone completely different than who you end up with. And trauma bonding is real, and it's a bitch to get away from. So I am just going to state that in looking at her situation, I am afraid that she is worried about telling him that he can't be on her show because of how he's affecting it. And I don't want that for her. No matter how much I dislike her, I don't. So while he's still on there, it's going to be a shit show every night. And it's definitely not going to drop the people reviewing her, because everybody loves a shit show, and it is 10 times the shit show when he's in the background saying that shit. So, yeah, that's a problem. All right, I can't think of much else. I think I've said enough for today. Maybe I'll get a video released here in the next few days, a shorter one. I'm really trying to decide what direction I'm going still. So I guess I'll just keep doing these until I figure something out. I appreciate all the support and comments and compliments and all of that. I really do. And I hope everybody has a good week, and I will talk to y'all soon.